In this video, we are going to look at the application of the gradient function to find the values of x of a given equation. So in our example here, the question says find the values of x for which the gradient of the curve y is equal to 2 over 3x cubed minus x squared is 4. Okay, so the first step is to differentiate the function that you are given. So here we have y is equal to 2 over 3x cubed minus x squared. So the first step is to find dy dx, which will give us, okay, so here you multiply the power by the coefficient 2 over 3, which will, when you multiply 2 over 3 times 3, you get 2x, and then after multiplying, you subtract a 1 from the power. So 3 minus 1 is 2. Minus, remember here on this one here, x squared, you have a coefficient of 1. So you multiply 2 times 1 here, you're going to have 2x, and then you subtract a 1 from the power. That is how we differentiate, or we find dy dx. So after differentiating this function that we are given, we are going to end up with 2x squared minus 2x. Now this expression that we've got here is known as an expression for the gradient of the curve that we are given. So since the question says that we should find the values of x for which the gradient of the curve is 4, so this is the expression for the gradient. So we are going to get this and equate it to 4. So we end up with 2x squared minus 2x is equal to 4. And so here we have a quadratic equation, and so we have to move this 4 and bring it on the left side of the equation. We are going to have 2x squared minus 2x minus 4 is equal to 0. So we have a standard quadratic equation. So here we notice one thing, that 2 can be divided into all the numbers in the equation. So when you divide everything by 2, you are going to end up with x squared minus x minus 2. 2 into 4 is 2 is equal to 0. And so here we can solve this quadratic equation that we have. You can use any method that you know. You can use the quadratic formula, you can use the portion laws method, you can use completing the squares and graphical method, but the one that I'm going to use here is factorization. So in factorization, we find the product first, where we multiply the coefficient of x squared, which is 1 in this case, by the constant at the end there, which is negative 2. So 1 times negative 2 give us negative 2. And then we can write down the sum. The sum is the coefficient of x in the middle here, which is 1 here. So you're going to have negative 1. And then you can write down the factors, two numbers that can be multiplied to give negative 2 and added to give negative 1. And so those two numbers that we have are negative 2 and positive 1. When you multiply negative 2 times 1, you get negative 2. When you add them, you get negative 1. So remember to put x here, because the equation that we have is in terms of x. And then we can factorize now our x squared minus x minus 2. So we are going to remove the middle term and replace it with the factors. So we are going to have x squared minus 2x plus 1x minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, so at this stage now, we are going to factorize this by grouping. So x is common here in the first two terms. We are going to have x, and then we have x minus 2 plus, here 1 is common. We'll end up with x minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, so at this stage now, we are going to continue factorizing here. So we are going to have x, this x here, plus 1, and x minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, so when you reach this stage now, you equate x plus 1 is equal to 0, or x minus 2 is equal to 0. So what you do now is, this side you solve for x, even this side you solve for x. And after solving for x now, you are going to end up with Allow me to write the answers here. So for the first one here, x plus 1 is equal to 0. You take this positive 1, this side it's going to be a negative. So you have 0 minus 1, which will give you x is equal to negative 1. Or x is equal to, so in this other one here, x minus 2 equals to 0. You take the negative 2 this side to be positive. You're going to end up with x is equal to positive 2. And so the values that we are looking for are x is equal to negative 1 and x is equal to positive 2. So this is the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for paying attention.